This is our halftime show here on ESPN Cricinfo. Mumbai Indians putting together a pretty good score against Delhi Capitals in this match in the T20. 168 for 5. Another little masterclass, a little cameo there from Hardik Pandya with 32 and his brother with 37 not out. Here in the studio with Deep Dasgupta and Sean Tate as we analyse 169 to win for Delhi in quite difficult conditions, Deep.
Yes, it is. I mean, that's a very good score as far as I'm concerned. I mean, mid-innings we were talking about how 150 would be a pass score here, and getting 168, 169 is a very good effort there.
But what about the bowling choices there, Sean? It was a bit puzzling, wasn't it, at times?
Just at the end there, I mean, they bowled a few full tosses that went for boundary sixes, and I think there was almost a sort of wicket where the pace off the ball into the pitch type thing, that length would have been harder to deal with. At the same time, if you hit Yorkers, it works out well, but they just didn't quite execute their Yorkers that well. Through the middle overs, tough, they bowled quite well.
Hardik Pandya, first 4 runs in 6 balls. After that, accelerated 32 and 15. That could be the difference.
That would be the difference as far as I see it, because and he's been in great form, Hardik. Great hitting form. We've seen right through this IPL, and it's great news for India, to be honest, the way he's hitting right now. And on a difficult surface, as you mentioned, but I also got to agree with what Tate just mentioned. The lengths weren't that great. I mean, the lengths that they bowled to Hardik, because if you see the way he sets himself up, is for the Yorker or the good length, and that's where exactly they bowled.
And Krunal Pandya with 37 in 26, but Kyron probably would have been better to be in there at the end.
No, I thought Krunal did all right, actually. I think he, towards the end of it, he got going a bit more, hit a couple of boundaries. So I think that was reasonable effort from him. It was a good innings on that slow track. To me, I was surprised because it looked like it was going to be very difficult to hit out at the end. But they found a way, and again, a few slot balls, as Deep was saying, and a couple of full tosses, rather than a Yorker or that heavier length and cross seamers. I think that might be the go. It'll be interesting to see how Mumbai, their bowlers, after watching that, how they go about their bowling.
Yeah, and I mean, the surprising part was actually Ben Cutting. I mean, if Ben Cutting hadn't come at 3 and let's say Surya Kumar Yadav, they'd followed the normal then maybe Pollard would have come earlier than the last 3 deliveries that he came out for. And
Quinton de Kock with a disastrous run out, just as he was looking really pretty good there in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, on a wicket like this, you probably need a guy that's set. A pitch like this, it's hard to come in straight away and start scoring. So the guy that's set, you want him to keep going throughout the innings. And I thought there was a run there. It went to Rabada's wrong side. He had to flick it and running to the non-strikers, and you were never going to get run out there. So I feel that there was definitely a run there. But this happens,
Question for you, Deep. Poor captaincies by Iyer as Mishra bowled only 3 overs, not 4 on a spin-friendly track.
And that's exactly what we were talking about during the game, isn't it? I mean, it's surprising that on a slower surface like this, where you expect the spinners to do major part of the bowling, you have Mishra who just ended up bowling 3. I mean, that was surprising actually, and he's bowled all right. I mean, Mishra 3 for 18 and then not being bowled out his quota. I mean, that was surprising.
And Morris 3 overs for 39, Sean. That was not the best spell he'll remember.
I think he just, he bowled all right, but he just let himself down with the full tosses at the end. It was as simple as that, a couple of slot deliveries as well. This looks to me like a sort of wicket where if you had a medium pace that takes the pace off, keep up to the stumps. One of those, it looks like one of those sort of wickets. I'm not sure Mumbai in their bowling attack, they seem to have paces and then spins. So it'll be interesting again to see how they go about their bowling.
Question for you, Tatey. Can you provide insight on Ben Cutting bowling on this Delhi wicket?
Look, he bashes it into a length, which might work out quite well on this pitch if he doesn't get too full. And he can bowl a change-up, but at the same time he keeps things pretty simple. I'm not sure how they're going to use him, but interesting through the middle overs, maybe even if he bowls that good heavy length.
But Rohit Sharma, he got 30 from 22, set things up nicely. He'd be pretty satisfied, surely, with what his team did.
Exactly. I mean, somebody had to go hard at the top, and you would back Rohit to do it because obviously the first 6 overs would be the best time to bat on that surface with the new ball. The ball coming onto the bat comparatively easier. So I think he had to do it, which he did. Unfortunately, not converted into a big one, which I think one is due, one is round the corner for Rohit. But that's the start that Mumbai needed.
Yeah, Rabada with a couple of wickets, but reasonably expensive. 4 overs for 38. Sean, about his bowling at the death.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was probably similar to Morris. I suppose he probably got a bit full, as in not hitting Yorkers, but fall in the slot or in a couple of full tosses as well. So obviously trying to hit his Yorker, which he does very well most of the time, it's difficult. It's tough to do it every game. And on a wicket like this, probably unsure what his length should have been. He went for the Yorkers, a couple of full tosses, cost him. And look, to be honest, those last few overs, that might see them cost them the game.
Yeah, and also credit to Hardik, I believe.
I was going to say, good hitting.
Yeah, Hardik also kind of set himself up for the Yorker and was waiting for it. And even for someone like Kimo Paul, because I'm sure they must have watched the last game where he picked up those wickets with his slower one. I think for the longest time, he was actually waiting for the slower one, not really waiting for the quick one, but he was just waiting for the slower one to capitalise.
Sean, how do you bowl to a player like Hardik Pandya when he's in that kind of form?
It depends what wicket again. He does set up for the full delivery. So I just think maybe that heavier sort of length through here could be an option to him. I don't know what you think, Deep. Again, it's difficult because he's such a great hitter at the end.
But not around the wicket, right?
Yeah, well, around the wicket, if you're going to bowl on his leg, it's just an easy picking for him. Around the wicket, sort of across him, might be a better option on this sort of pitch.
And talking about the pitch, is it going to get more difficult to bat on, you think?
Yes, it will. I mean, a surface which is crumbling will only continue crumbling, and especially now that the lights are up and everything else, and there'll be wear and tear. We saw after the first or second over itself, you could see those foot marks. I mean, those foot marks are great indicators of how firm the topsoil is, and obviously it's not. Yeah,
and we see Rohit Sharma then passing a milestone, becoming the third player in T20 to pass 8,000 runs.
Oh, I mean, he's quality. He's a class actor. And you put him up there. If you're talking about IPL stuff, Raina, Kohli, and these guys, and now it's Rohit. So he's that group of players. I think India's been really lucky with this era of these younger guys that have come through and become world class players.
Yeah, I mean, what else would you say about Mumbai's batting performance that stood out for you?
I think the whole, apart from the Ben cutting thing, I think it went according to plan. They wanted a quick fire start, which they got, and then Krunal came in, Hardik came and did his bit. Surya Kumar also, did his part in the middle overs, playing out the spinners and scoring at 110, 115 strike rate. Was it that? Oh no, it was less than 100 actually. But anyways, I mean 26 or 27, you needed to play out those spinners then. I think which more or less went according to plan.
And then for Delhi's approach, what are you expecting, Sean? The way they're going to approach this chase?
Guys like Shikhar and that they'll be okay at playing on this wicket. But we said traditionally the way that the batsmen go about it might not suit them. It's going to be very tough because they've got Malinga who takes pace off. They've got Bumrah who bowls. This sort of wicket, he could be very tough work. But look, I think at the moment you look at it and go, they've probably got 15 too many. Possibly.
And they've got 3 spinners as well. They're playing Jayant Yadav, the off spinner. They've got a leggy in Rahul Chahar, and then obviously Krunal should bowl his quota 4 overs on this
They're
surface.
going to be tough to get away, those guys as well.
So they've got enough bowling options there as well, at least 6 that I can think of.
Abhijit has a question for you. Deep. Pollard is the perfect number 4. Why send in Krunal Pandya higher?
I think because he's a left-hander and they lost de Kock then. So it is always a good idea to, especially on this kind of a surface when you have spinners, 2-3 quality spinners in the opposition, then it's always a good idea to get a left-hand, right-hand combination. Pollard would make sense, but I would have preferred anyways Krunal. Start of the show also we mentioned that it would be a good time to send Krunal at number 4 today.
Do you think they missed out having Pollard there? He just didn't face the
No,
ball.
I think Hardik did his job. I think Hardik, if he got out, then Pollard goes in and has the same approach. I honestly think they'd be very happy with that score on this wicket.
All right, question for you, Deep. Should Pant bat at number 3?
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Pant batting at 3 because, if there's an early wicket or something, then obviously he gets in and plays at the right time or the best time to bat on that surface. And someone like him can quickly take the game away. And, the first 6-7 overs are going to be very, very crucial, the kind of start they get. If they get off at 8 and over, that platform is set. That platform is set for someone like, say, Chris Morris or someone coming later in the batting order and finishing off the games. So it's very important, the first 6-7 overs.
So they were 57 for no wicket after 6 overs. What do you think? Would you have Pant number 3?
I think it's not a bad option as well. Once he gets himself in, if he's in, give himself 5-6 overs, And the way he goes about the shots he plays, they're probably a chance of chasing down the score. So, I mean, someone's going to have to play a really good innings to get this total on this wicket.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good to watch because they can't mess around, can they?
No, they can't. They can't. And actually, I mean, taking that Pant thing forward, if there is some guy, as Sean mentioned, that X factor or somebody could actually, play out of their skins, would be him in that batting order. Some guy who can actually take away the game from the opposition on this kind of a surface. So, yeah, I mean, the more I think of it, the more I'm convinced Pant should bat, a little higher in this game.
So, Sean, what do you think? Any chance for Delhi to chase this down?
Again, there's a chance if someone goes for a reasonable score, hangs around, bats through the innings. But right now, I'd be sticking with Mumbai.
You too?
Yeah.
All right, 169 to win for Delhi against Mumbai. We'll be back a bit later on for more from ESPN Cricinfo.